All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Season 4 finale of Sunday Night Skippy Racing League. We are coming to you live from virtual New South Wales, Australia, here at Mount Panorama Circuit, also known as Bathurst, a race that I've been looking forward to since this track was announced last season. Joining me tonight on the broadcast is Chris Herrera and Ian Worrell. Newcomer Chris Herrera, I'm looking forward to seeing what you have to bring to the broadcast. And before I let you do a little intro here, I forgot to mention that we are broadcasting live on both the YouTube and Twitch CavOK Racing channels. So if you found us on one or the other and you prefer the other one, just search for CavOK Racing, that's CAVOK. And you'll find us on both Twitch and YouTube. So, Chris Herrera, welcome. You clinched the championship a couple of races ago now. Shoot, I feel like time is flying when you're having fun. But, you were able to basically enjoy last week's race and, maybe take some chances. Didn't probably go exactly the way you wanted. But here tonight, you're with us in the broadcast booth, taking another view of a Sunday Night Skippy race, looking at it from a different perspective. We're happy to have you, and welcome.
Thank you so much. It's good to be in here, and I'm hoping I can provide some sort of good color commentary, or at least another pair of eyes for you, because God bless you, you do a lot of good work each and every weekend, and if I can make your job just a little bit easier, then consider it a job well done.
Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it as well, and it's going to be really great, because not only do we have a driver's perspective, but we have the season champions driver's perspective. So that's going to be really neat to see. And admittedly, you say you didn't really get into Bathurst too much, but who is driving around Bathurst right now is our own Ian Worrell. How are you doing tonight, Ian?
Well, I'm crashing a lot. Oh dear, Bathurst. It's an interesting wee little track. Right now I'm trundling down the pit lane, coming to the exit, which comes out just after turn 1. So the start-finish straight is to my right. So here's the pit exit. You can see we've come out. It's not a bad exit for a change. They're not dumping us directly into traffic. But then this is one of the long straights. Bathurst is a mixture between, I don't know, I guess I want to think of Detroit, and I want to think of Canadian motorsport or the Jacques Villeneuve circuit. We have a mixture of those two. Yeah, we've got lots of long straights with lots of drafting opportunity, and then we have the pinball area, which I'm in right now, which I usually find a way of hitting a wall or two with all these great corners. But this is all uphill. And the guys at the front of the pack are going to be doing all of this flat out as they work their way all the way up to 5th gear eventually after some of these corners. Most of these corners, again, are blind, and a lot of them are slightly off camber, and are very exciting when you've got cold tires. So first lap or two up here, expect to see quite a few shunts as people slide off, especially on that corner. And then here's the beginning of the big downhill. And I'm just going to slow down a little bit to go down here, because I want you guys to see this is really a massive drop with all these walls and blind corners. And then my favorite corner is this one, where you just kind of fling the car at the wall, of all things, as you drop down into 2nd gear. Then this one, which is where I usually crash, is another difficult one. Accelerating from here, sliding out to the wall, and then this long downhill straight. Basically, it's all flat out all the way down as we come through the rolling hills of New South Wales. Little vineyard there off to the left. It's a pretty grey day for a race today, keeping the temperatures down, I guess, keeping everything a little cooler. But yeah, this is all flat out all the way down here. Expect to see some drafting as we come down here, and then some overtaking, under braking as they slide through these two corners, picking up the throttle, trying to get it flat out again as we go through Armorall Bridge, and then down to the penultimate corner as they slip themselves around this. and back, and this is the start-finish line we're coming up to right here. So this would be turn 1 you can see ahead of me, and you'll see now where the pit exit comes out right there, and there's someone nicely coming out of it for us. And so you'll see folks coming along here, tucking in behind the person in front, trying to get a bit of a draft to help pull them along. The front packet's going to be really interesting. As soon as they break away, I think they're going to make quite a bit of a distance, because they're going to be up each other's tailpipes, as it were, and they're really going to be able to stretch the pack out. But yeah, so that's a lap at Bathurst.
Ian, for the long straights, is this going to be like Spa, where the drivers can work together on the draft to sort of pull away from the packs behind them?
Oh, for sure, absolutely. It's going to be interesting, because you know what is it? Hey, those walls, kissing those walls is not like kissing your girlfriend or your partner. Let me tell you, it's a hell of a lot more permanent very suddenly. You're not working up to proposing. It's like, oh, bam, you're done.
Well,
there's no subtlety.
I brought up the track map too, because you brought up the elevation changes. This is Mount Panorama, as it were. So I don't want to undersell the fact that you are literally racing up and then back down the side of a mountain. And it is.
I love that corner. I'm sorry.
It's so tough to get a sense of what it feels. I'm sure in real life, obviously, it must just be just nuts. But even in iRacing, it really does give you a sense of going downhill. And it is those turns that you just went through, just kind of historically have given people fits. And no matter who races here, not just Skippy's, but any race series, there's tracks, there's memes about it, with pile-ups trying to make it down the mountain on cold tires. So that is definitely something to be watching for, because as you come down through there, if someone crashes, the way the system works, your car has to be stationary before it will allow you to reset it back to the pit. So if you're in a big crash and you're trying to figure out how damaged is my car, before I reset back to the pits, you're going to find that there'll be, bang, 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 bang. You'll find that, I've broken a wheel. Yeah, you're done.
Woo! Apparently
watching a lot of videos from Bathurst from this week, I've definitely seen some instances where there are cars that get flipped around in some of those tighter corners, and it becomes an Austin Power situation and nobody can pass.
Yes.
Exactly.
So you'll find cars come flying down, and let's go. I'll just kind of walk there, not massively fast. I think we might just have enough time to get there where we can actually sort of have an actual look at exactly that point. And hopefully not get hit by anybody. So we'll try and stay off the racing line, but we'll go through there a little slowly, and we can have a look at not only how steep it is, but those exact places where someone gets turned around up in there, and it's just going to cause a massive pileup. And you have to forgive me, because these are just coming out of the pit, freezing cold tires.
I hear a lot of excuses, but
based on the lap times that we're seeing in practice, at least, there's not a whole lot of time in between, at least P1 and P20 or so. Even though it's 1 maybe 2 seconds, which in the grand scheme of things is kind of a lot. These long straights, Ian, you're talking about the draft. If people are catching on, then I think we might be seeing some big groups going at least for a couple minutes into the race, if not 10-15 minutes. We will see some good.
Yes, I think so.
Racing.
I think we really will. I'm going to let this person come past me. So here you go. As you're coming over this blind crest into the first part of the big downhills, someone behind me again, but you can really see how steep it is. Looking down there, we're going all the way down to the bottom down there. If you get crashed at this point, it's not going to be too bad. There's lots of space here for people to run off. It's all good. It's all fine. The problems really start to happen here. You get a crash here on this corner, Look at how steep this is. I mean, it really is incredibly steep. You get crashes over there between those concrete walls, and yeah, it's going to be a
We've,
big pile up
we,
and lights out.
we've lost you since the practice is over. It looks like qualifying, or I think qualifying has started now.
Yes, qualifying is just about to start.
Excellent.
With regards to the elevation change that you were just talking about, Bathurst has, it looks like, a 571-foot vertical distance between the highest and the lowest points, which apparently is significantly higher than most other tracks we've seen.
Yeah, yeah. And with the Skippy, you know, the underpowered little slip and slide car that runs on butter under its wheels, you know, pushing up that hill in the first place is hard work, and then downhill. So fuel is also going to be something to keep an eye on, because they're going to be using more of it than they would expect.
Well, we have a question on our YouTube channel here. Wanted to specifically ask Chris, I guess, how many laps this is going to be? 18 or 19? Somewhere in that range?
Goodness. Let me do some
putting
math.
You on the spot. Well, we'll let you do the math on that. And oh shoot, I was actually going to go to you again for something else too. You know what? Hold off on that math for a second.
We're going to see 16 laps.
How many?
I'm predicting 16 laps.
16 laps is the prediction. Now, granted, we decided not to go with the 2 pit stop for this race, correct?
You know what? I'm not entirely sure. I'm guessing, and I'm hoping that's the case, at least for the rest of the field, since that'd be something new.
Because we were discussing a potential rule change for Season 5 where we would do 2 total pit stops, and there was a discussion early on about whether or not we were going to test that for this championship race, and I don't know that I ever saw. I got busy with work. I don't know that I ever saw what the resolution to that was.
I thought they had said that they were going to do 2 pit stops, but I could be wrong.
Oh boy. That's good. We got 3 broadcasters. Nobody knows what the hell's going on. This is so good. All right. Well, we'll try to get an answer on that. In the meantime, hey, I say we have a request, but it's a 100% valid and request, and we had a motorsport legend from Australia pass away. John Harvey, and I know Chris, you were able to basically carry the torch and do a little bit of research on John Harvey. Would you mind just giving us a little tidbit for anybody who may not be familiar with the gentleman?
Sure.
And yeah, his impact on the motorsport.
So John Harvey, he was born in 1938 and he passed away just yesterday. He was an Australian racing car driver. So primarily active in the 50s and the 60s, winning a lot of championships in the Speed Car Championship, including the New South Wales Championship for 3 successive years. And apparently he had just a very, very long, successful career until he retired in 1988. And my understanding is that he was just a legend among racing, specifically within Australia, but also the greater world as well. So my condolences go out to his family as well as all of his fans around the world, because I know that this was quite a big impact for the racing community at large.
Yeah, the little amount of what I was able to glean is kind of probably not as sudden, obviously, but when you talk about legends in motorsport, I obviously come from a oval NASCAR type fan, but this would be along the lines of losing like a Richard Petty or a Dale Earnhardt or somebody like that. So yeah, clearly we love the folks who go out there and kind of set the standard for everybody to follow, and who kind of pave the way for this sport that we all love, whether it's racing around a mountain or a or an oval or whatever it is. We just have a lot of fun with it, and anytime somebody passes, we like to pass on our respects to everybody involved. And so John Harvey, thank you very much for everything that you contributed to just the things that we enjoy today, and I'll tell you what, iRacing has given me such a huge appreciation for not just road racing, but this particular circuit in particular that I don't know that I would have had otherwise. So yeah, there you go. That's my thoughts on John Harvey. So
Cool. It's always sad when we lose, folks, but it is the way of the world.
it is, and yeah. I'm gonna actually we'll save that.
Racing. We've got our first qualifying laps coming in.
Let me bring up
the original pole.
Jason Bice, way to go, Jason.
Let me bring up the fast laps here. Like you guys were saying, there you can see 2:32.704 for Jason right now. Pete Mulbron in a close second. Judah Tolman up there. Paul Beatty, the highest
representing the Aussies.
Aussie on the board right now in P4.
Based on what we were seeing in practice, they should be able to knock off at least another second, at least among the front group, by the time they finish their laps. But it looks like they're only getting 10 minutes, so I'm not sure they're going to get the full 4 laps in. They definitely won't be able to.
If it's going to be 10 minutes, then it is definitely 2 pit stops.
Interesting. Okay, so I guess they're doing the 2 pit stops, which means qualifying, they're not going to have 4 laps to get their best time in. I think my math is correct. 2:35, 2:40-ish for the outlap. Another 5 minutes for the fastest group. They're only going to get 2 laps in.
Yeah.
Which is different from most of the other races we've had throughout the season, where we've had enough time to do 4 qualifying laps. Obviously, the more laps you do, the warmer your tires get, and the better grip you get. Obviously, the faster times. So this will be interesting. This is definitely going to be more of an advantage for those who have done more practice on cold tires.
So I'm going to ask you a lot. I'm going to preface every question as season champion, what was your strategy going into a 4-lap closed qualifying session? Like, talk me through when you're going to go through and do 4. You got 4 laps to get it right and try to start at the front of the grid. Did it depend on the track? Did it depend on how comfortable you were with that particular track? Like, what was your approach to qualifying?
General approach for all the tracks for me would be to scrub my tires as much as possible on the outlap. So just a lot of swerving back and forth, and for the sharp turns, really jamming my brakes as hard as possible to get some heat into the brake pads and into the tires themselves. And then as soon as I was finished with the outlap and I had my 4 laps to go, just nailing each one as much as I could. And if I got any off tracks or anything on one of the previous laps, then that would obviously invalidate that lap, and then I could just use the rest of that lap to get even more swerving and heat into my tires and my brakes. So the general strategy would be my first lap generally would be a little bit more conservative than the others, just to make sure I get something at least respectable down onto the books. And a lot of times that doesn't happen, and I can remember a couple times this season where I didn't put down a decent lap until lap number 4. And obviously if you think about that too much, you can get really nervous, and it can cause you to miss your turns, your apexes, or go off track or something to invalidate the entire lap. So it's good practice from that respect, but it can also be very stressful when you have only 1 lap left and you're not as high as you were expecting to be. But in this case, they're only getting 2 laps, so they, I imagine, are going to be a little bit more stressed, because it's just like the public races where you only get 2 laps. If you mess up the first one, then that last one is really all you have. So the strategy might not be as much, might not be as similar as mine in terms of doing a more conservative lap to begin with. You might actually want to be even more conservative than usual, just because you only get 2 chances.
It's funny. That's not unlike oval race. And obviously, there's only 4 turns or 2, depending on who you ask. But when you only got 2 laps to make it right, that kind of changes the way that you approach. Do you kind of have a throwaway lap just to try to get the tires warm, and then you're then playing all your cards on that 1 lap, and all it takes in road racing especially, we've brought this up before multiple times throughout the season, you have 1 off track to invalidate your qualifying time and it's over. So like, what do you, you know what I mean? Like it's a high risk, high reward sort of scenario, and I don't know. It's really interesting to see what everybody chooses to do. I will say real quick, Edwin Viorino taking over the top spot. Carl Dronke and Paul Beatty will be starting in the top 3 there. Jason Bice in. Oop.
6.
He was on the top. He's in 6. Yep. All right. Everything kind of shut off on me there real quick.
Yeah, Jason's in 6. Look at this. Look at the top speed though. A 2:32.2. I mean, that's very respectable.
Oh, I would
Hey,
say
you know
so.
what? Absolutely. That's blazing fast, especially for only having 2 laps to get that done.
Mhm.
When I was anticipating the 2:31s, that was before I realized that they were only getting 2 laps of qualifying. So when Carl and Paul rounding out the podium for the qualifying, those are some very fast and very close times. If we take a look at the top, oh my God, the top 13 are within 1 second of each other.
Yeah.
And these are some names that
crazy.
I'm sure you guys recognize as being towards the front pretty consistently.
And now we've got the drivers meeting.
Yeah. So I'm not sure, Chris, if you wanted to show or listen to the drivers meeting, but really quickly, I wanted to point out, at least in terms of the overall standings, is a tight race between Edwin Viorino and Pete Mabrotten for P2, or I guess second place for the season championship. Edwin is 1 point ahead of Pete right now. And now with this pole position, he's going to get an additional bonus point as well, which means that assuming they split the number of laps led just for convenience of explanation, Pete is going to need to finish 2 spots ahead of Edwin to tie him for second place overall in the season.
Yeah, I've just pulled up the standings here so people can get a sense of what you're looking at, and how close that battle for P2 is going to be. A little bit of a gap, but then after that, a lot of single-digit point gaps, all the way down
Exactly.
through P15. Yeah, it's pick out your favorite driver and see who is around them, because I think there's going to be a lot of position moves. And by the way, I want to say that second column shows you the change that is from the previous week. It is incredible. I want to highlight this. It is incredible to see just how much movement from week to week you see. I've been in multiple leagues, and I've never seen that much change in positions this late in the season. Usually
Well,
things are pretty locked up. You kind of know where you stand, last race of the season. But when you have, +4, -4, +2, I think the new point system just adds a lot more, especially mid-pack there. What an incredible change that was voted on by the community, the drivers, and I think it added a lot of excitement to the Sunday Night Skippy
And I
League
think
as a whole.
something that you've mentioned before and is even more obvious and pertinent today, if you look at that final column on the very right, behind the next, that means that person is, for example, if we take a look at Carl Dronke, is 5 spots behind, or 5 points behind Louis Baboni. So if Carl finishes at least 5 spots ahead of Luis today, then Carl will leapfrog him and end up ostensibly P7 overall for the season. So you see a lot of these in the single digits, which is talking again to what you were talking about before with how close this entire season has been. You see some of these people are even tied or even 1, 2, 3 spots away from each other. So it's going to be interesting keeping track of that and seeing a lot of these battles for the overall season standings.
And real quick, since we may not have another team championship, at least for a little bit, let's bring up the team standings one last time. Snail Racing, Race to Learn, currently in first. B team, also leapfrogging team running on empty.
Oh no!
Yeah. So, I personally kind of have mixed feelings on the team championship. For me, it's pretty cool to see 2 to 3 drivers kind of team up and kind of work together, and it's exciting to watch their progress and battling each other. I understand the difference. I don't know that we're ready to announce any changes yet because there's still being voted on by the drivers, but the direction that the league is going, I think, is in a good direction for development and helping each other out. But at the same time, it was really cool to watch the teams this season. Kind of see where everybody fell out. But obviously, Pete Mobron and Ultra Colada for Snail Racing, just as a team, performed very well and consistently. And if they end up going out of this race where we're at right now in first place, I think that's going to be a nice feather in their cap, regardless of their individual state.
Absolutely.
And something to note, if you take a look at Ruben Ray, he qualifying at P38. It looks like he didn't set a lap in qualifying. So that is going to be significant because he is only 3 points ahead of Luis Baboni, who, oh man, is he not even racing? Oh no, yeah. So Luis is starting 21. Ruben Ray is starting 38. So that's 17 spots that Ruben's behind him, and he needs to finish at least 3 ahead, or at least 2 ahead to maintain his lead. So if they finish where they are now, then Luis is going to leapfrog Ruben and finish the season at P6.
Well,
and in fact, Carl Jockey might do that as well.
Pit stops have been now confirmed.
Pit stops
Two
confirmed?
pit stops have been confirmed.
Oh, fantastic.
I can't believe I'm not racing.
I know, man. Well, so with you not racing, right now I'm showing 42 drivers on the grid. So keep that in mind, everybody. 42 drivers, 42 Skip Barbers in close proximity, climbing the mountain and then descending the mountain here on lap 1. I think that's going to set the tone for everybody for the rest of the race. A lot can happen, and a lot will happen in that first lap or two that may or may not determine people's final standings in the overall season, like potential winners. So there's a lot on the line during these first couple laps, and I'm excited to watch it.
I've also heard a new update too. They're just saying that you cannot, if you've got a penalty that you have to black flag penalty, you have to do. You have to do it after passing the start-finish line at least once.
Oh, right, because last week we saw some people doing it right after the start of the race.
Yeah, so now you have to do a lap, and then so it will be on lap 2, before the beginning of lap 2, that people will be coming in and serving their penalties.
So anybody who is serving a black flag is going to be part of that initial gaggle heading down, and it does look like everybody is gridding now. So there's going to be no respite for anybody. All 42 drivers will be making their way up the hill together, black flag drivers included. Ooh! All right, well,
it's going to be interesting. Like I say, I mean, our first fun is going to come once they start to squeeze in onto the racing line.
We are focused here on the front of the grid. And by the way, congratulations, Edwin Virino. Got the pole, got the bonus points, and fantastic showing by him during the qualifying session. Like we were talking about earlier, it's not easy. And oh, did somebody not grid? Or am I just not showing them?
I haven't got, and away they go. Away they go. Here's where it's going to get fun.
That is Edwin's 7th pole position of the season for Edwin.
Oh, man. That guy can hot lap.
He's pretty fast. Whew. All right, so I'm expecting... Oh, my gosh, look at all those cars. That's fantastic.
I'm already seeing lots of sliding. And so there's already been an accident down at turn 1. I didn't see who it was.
I'm showing Robert Longatano having crashed. We will check back in. For the moment, though, I do not want to turn away because, holy cow, look at all these Skippies climbing the hill right now.
Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing. I'm right now keeping an eye on Steve Dewar in the mid-pack. He's doing quite well as young Steve. He's been putting a lot of practice laps down here. So I'm hoping to see him do some moves and get himself getting further up. Oh, and there's been another wreck! Oh, who was that?
Wood off.
Nikolai Wood, yeah. It is so easy on these blind, off-camber, weird corners to lose it. And now first run down through the dipper. And we'll see as the car's concertina back a little bit. But so far, pretty clean. And now they're dropping down into that big, long downhill straight.
Carl making the move.
I'm on board looking at Scott Bell. Trying to make a move to the inside. Ooh.
Jordan Lyndall McMurphy entering pit lane.
Jonathan Doherty is entering pit lane.
These must be some black flag penalties being served, like you mentioned.
Yeah, but don't forget what the rule was. You had to pass. You had to pass the start finish at least once. Doherty, I think Doherty's in for repairs or something because he is actually stopped. If you're serving a penalty, you just have to trundle through pit lane and back out. And I see Robert Logitano's heading out.
I'm right on board here with Aaron Law. These guys are going wheel to wheel. Max and Gherkin.
And the top 7 are in a train. Sorry, the top 8. Oh my gosh. The top 8 are in a train. Make it the top 9. Holy cow.
Yeah, top 9. They got a 2-second gap there back to P10.
Brady got a 2-second gap. But I mean, they're all just hanging on. No one wants to give an inch. And they're all like, oh, I thought he hit the side of the wall there, but he didn't. Oh my God. And it's just so beautiful to watch them down through the dipper and then down into the S's as they go down on the second time down on the long, big downhill straight. And they're all just dying to keep that, draft, because anybody drops off that draft and they're done. They are out of that pack.
That's going to be tough to catch up. Well, while we have a second here, let's try to look back at the start of the race. As Edwin, we see they're trying to make the pass. Probably a bad time. All right, so that's nothing. I don't think that's really much of a crash. Here's Robert Longitano on the start, locking it up, and end up sending himself around, so nothing there. And then Nikolai Wood later on just kind of has a little bit of an off track, and it does look like he's able to keep it off of everybody else, although he does have rear end and rear wing damage. Locks the brakes up like a pro, and keeps it straight. So good to see.
Yeah, and the second pack is Peter Nodwell, Jack Moffat, and Thomas Fotos, who are just dropped off, and they're followed hard by the next group. Yeah, we've got I think about 3 groups now, haven't we? We've got 3 or 4. Sean Tradiak's just been passed by has just passed Jonathan Dance, who's now being passed by Justin Rubello as they're coming into the final 2 corners going up the hill. Justin's got the inside and is just managing to squeeze past on that uphill run. But we've got a ways to go. It's early doors.
2 pit stops this time, remember, and I can't believe nobody has called me out on this. I still have best time up there. Unbelievable, you guys. Nobody called me out on that. Here we go. There's your interval. What did I want to bring up here? No. Totally forgot what I was going to say there. But, oh, that's what I was going to say. Hey, so Chris, I'm going to imagine that you are up here in the lead group, this lead pack of 9. What is your philosophy if you're in this group? Do you want to be toward the back, the middle? Are you trying to get up toward the front as like Carl tries to make the pass here on Edwin for the lead? What is your mentality this early in the race?
I think we've lost Chris. Chris, if you're talking, you're on mute, mate. Oh, and he went off! He went off! Oh my gosh, who was that? He got himself back in place, but he lost some time, and the front 3 are starting to gap the rest of that front pack. Jason Bice is slightly offline, and Decker has got right up beside him as they're coming up into T1. I think Jason lost a place there. Pete Broughton's at the back, but he's not. He's running slightly offline from Jason. He's not tucked in behind him. I'm not sure why. Yeah, it's a bit odd. You know, I'd have thought he would be tucked right in there, either saving fuel or trying to get a tow, but he wasn't. But anyway, he is now going up the hill. But it looks like the front pack has split into 2 bits a little bit as they are continuing to battle for position. Chris, if you're talking, I'm not hearing you either.
No, I'm good. Yeah, no. I was trying to. I'm trying to work out with Chris what the other Chris.
Okay.
What the deal is. So, okay. Well, yeah. I guess we're not going to get the season champ read on that. But speaking of reads, Kyle Reed, real quick in this fantastic 888 paint scheme there. He's up 15 spots total. Our current overall gainer for the race is currently sitting P26 and continuing to work his way up. Let's check in with our fellow Aussies here. Paul Beatty sitting P3rd, like you said. We split the top group into two bits, and Paul just barely hanging on to that main pack. Scott Dawkins, that's Boston. I can't do Boston. I get my accents mixed up. Dawkins. He's sitting back there in P20, up 5 spots total. So another great run for him, and great competition there with Steve Dewar as they come down the hill. Steve making the pass around the outside, using that draft to great effect. And yep, nice and clean, getting into a defensive position going into the next turn. And Phil Arikelian battling up 4 spots into P27, and he's got his hands full of car with Doug Metzel and Jeff Torbeck. No room, no rest for the weary.
Yeah,
but doing what he can with that Skip Barber 2000.
That's lovely shot there. They're compiling down that hill in the West Point car. What a nice little run he's got going.
So, if you guys
there
can hear
you
me?
are.
Oh, you're
Okay,
back.
we got you.
Yeah, I just thought Ian was talking over me, but I know he would never do that.
No, I was trying to find out if you were talking, and we couldn't hear you.
I was talking. I was giving some excellent color commentary. So what I was going to say is, now that
Whatever
you
I
can see
said
the-
was amazing.
Yeah, it was great. So the front group, as Ian was pointing out, is now Carl, Edwin, and Paul. And they're steadily pulling away from the chase group. They're now about 1.8, 1.9 seconds ahead. And if I am Pete Mulbratton right now, I'm starting to get a little panicked because I'm certain that he knows he needs to finish ahead of Edwin in order to clinch the P2. And he's part of the second chase group, which is losing time to them. So at this point, Pete is thinking he's at the back of this chase group of 4 of Pete Mulbratton, Judah Tolman, Jeffrey Decker, and Jason Bice. And actually, there's a few more than that. So Pete is probably thinking, hey guys, we need to work together to catch back up with Carl, Edwin, and Paul. Otherwise, Pete has no chance at the P2 overall championship.
Yes. Yeah, that's absolutely right.
And what in your position? Okay, so you find yourself in Pete's position here, Chris. Do you try to leapfrog down the hill? I'm thinking about passing zones here, and there just isn't a ton. It seems like a lot of the passes are happening on this downhill portion right here as he gets not as good of a run as Judah and the rest down the hill.
Especially where he is right now. He can see the chase group, or he can see the lead group ahead, steadily getting further and further away. And this straight right here, this is probably one of those examples of where they should be working together, but it looks like they are just going to battle the whole time.
Well, you can see, wheel-to-wheel action. Looks like they will get it sorted, but probably a little too late because the gap has widened to 2.8 seconds. And if we go and focus on the front group here, I guess their only hope is really that the front group starts battling each other. You know what I mean? Like that's
either that or some sort of catastrophe, or maybe a slow pit or something to that effect. Because if the race ends as it is now, then Pete will be.
Mike Bowers just did a move and just pulled up an overtake into turn 1. Nicely done, sir.
Oh gosh, and yeah, since the last time we looked at the intervals, it looks like the front group has gained another second on the chase group, led by Jason Bice.
They're almost 3 seconds ahead now.
Yeah, exactly. So Pete might be resigning himself to a 3rd place overall finish, which is nothing to sneeze at. That is a fantastic finish.
Well,
really,
sure,
we got a lot of race left, so anything can happen. We have 27 more minutes. No, 28 more minutes.
Now,
so 28 more minutes and 2 pit stops.
You know what? We have 30.
No, what are you thinking about pit stops? Because we're 6 laps in, 13 and a half minutes past. What's your strategy now? I mean, Pete's now got to be thinking, how can I use the pit stop to gain me position?
Do you undercut? Do you stay out? Like what?
He could be fuel saving right now. I can't hear his engine, but if he's shifting early and really keeping the revs down, then he might be planning on cutting short the fuel window and trying to maybe jump ahead of this group coming out of the pits, and then maybe he'll rely on just his pure speed to try to catch up to that front group. That is one possible strategy.
Now let me ask you this, Edwin leading here with the bonus points potentially associated with that, that could come into play too. How is that factored into the analysis
that's right.
there?
So if my calculation of 16 laps is correct, then that means 16 rounds up to 20, divide that by 5. So every 4 laps that they lead is going to be 1 bonus point. Which means, I can't tell who's led the laps now, but so for example, if Edwin leads 8 of these laps, then he's going to get 2 bonus points. If he leads 12, he'll get 3 bonus points, etc. So that will absolutely have something to play into this.
And Pete's going in. Pete's going into the pits.
There you go.
Dived into the pits.
So maybe our tentative thought of what he was going to do is correct. Maybe he's going to try to undercut the gas, come out ahead, and maybe just try to do some hot lapping on his own.
Yeah, he's trundling down.
It looked like the group was not working with him.
Dropped down to 8th position.
It looks like Mike Bowers followed him into there as well, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a few of the drivers, Jonathan Gans included.
Pete's now down into 12th.
So our lead group of Carl, Edwin, and Paul is still together.
All right, Pete's on his way out. Where is he going to come out? He's going to come out behind Metzel in the 42 car. Right alongside, who's that?
He's right in front of Adam Wright.
Adam Wright, that's it, yeah.
He's in front of Adam Wright, behind Jeff Torbeck.
Behind Torbeck. And
So
he is
my guess
pushing
is-
hard.
Yes, exactly. My guess is he'll probably get past Jeff pretty soon, and then just work on hot lapping and trying to just gain as much time as possible.
Or if Jeff's going quick enough, maybe it's do a bit more fuel saving, because don't forget he's got yet another pit stop to do.
That is a good point.
You know, you really want to find someone that you can work with. I mean, trouble with Pete is he's so much faster than everybody else. I mean, he's already sniffing the gearbox of Torbeck, and I can hear him, you know, throttle modulating, so he's staying behind him and not running into him. He's not running at full throttle and braking a little bit earlier than Jeff is to make sure he stays safe coming down. Oh, beautifully through the dipper. He'll pass him, though, of course, as we get onto this straight. I'm sure he'll just whip past him. Oh, Torbeck's losing it, and Jeff's past it, and Pete's past him. I guess for Pete, it's hammer time. He's down in 20th after that pit stop.
And you can
I
see
just heard the lead start
all
going
of
in.
the leaders now currently in pit road.
So now the question is, where are they going to come out?
Well, you can see Pete Mobron there coming around the final corner.
Yep.
Actually, while I'm doing
And the
it,
leaders are starting to head out now, so he'll probably see them ahead. I think he's a little bit going to be behind them still. But
There's
Pete, where
Pete.
are you?
he's coming. He's crossed the start-finish line right there, as everybody's coming outside to the pit lane. Edwin, looks like Carl and Paul. He's gonna slot in right behind Paul. What a move by!
That is beautiful.
Wow.
The undercut really worked. Look at that.
Wow.
Look at that. Back with the lead pack. What a brilliant
Wow.
move. And I guess, you know, and he's gonna pick off Paul. Look at that. He's right up on Paul now. So now again, strategy. What does he do now? Fuel save, run late, or do yet another early pit stop, pick up a little bit more fuel, or pick up less fuel? I mean, now you've really got to think about it, right? Because I don't know how much fuel he picked up on that stop. So if he underfueled, knowing, well, I've got another stop, so I'll try and underfuel, get a really short first stop, get a lot of track position, right? Catch up with the pack, and then take an early, slightly longer second stop. I mean, you know, there's so many options here.
Well, let's look at the pit lane time there, just so everybody can get a sense of where everybody's at. You can see Pete had. That's where the difference is, right? He had 48.6. Everybody else is in the low 50s. So you do have to wonder exactly how much fuel Pete took. So while it looks good now, he's definitely got to be in fuel-saving mode moving forward. One would assume, because not only did he pit earlier, but he stayed for less time.
Right.
So just,
So,
you know, physics, he probably has less fuel. You know what I mean? So,
absolutely. But this is a good track for fuel saving on. I mean, all of this downhill, riding right behind somebody else, they're just pulling you along. You're running at a 2/3 throttle, right? And you're maintaining pace. So, you know, this means that he should, if he plays his cards right, be able to pit with this group when they pit, even though he got less fuel to start with.
well, and so the other thing I want to bring up here is we've actually bunched up this top 9 once again in a very kind of different way. But the biggest gap we have right now is about 1.4 seconds. I'm looking right now at Judah Tolman, who's kind of sitting second in the second group. I guess I would consider it.
Yep.
Yeah, Judah Tolman looks like he is in third place in the second group.
So I guess Paul Bachler, let's ride along with him. So this is P9. We've got 9 seconds between Paul Bachler, who we're riding along with, and Jack Moffitt, who's currently sitting P10. So that is a huge gap there. Other than that, Paul Bachler, let's look at the gap. Oops, not the gain, the gap. Paul Bachler, only 4.5 seconds there behind the leader at the moment. You know, that's with the draft that may end up being a rounding error. So good on him. Jonathan Dance back here in P11, looking up at Jack Moffitt. So these guys, once again, are 8.5 seconds or so back from those two lead packs. But this is going to be a great. So both Jack and Jonathan, fantastic drivers in their own right. And if these guys stick together toward the end of the race, I'm here for that. That's worth the price of admission alone.
So it looks like Jeff Decker is now on an island all by himself. Oh, never mind. It looks like he caught up. The front group seems to have struggled just a little bit.
Yeah, he was kind of out. That's right. So he's kind of gapping the front pack and the back pack. I'm wondering though. What is the draft window on the Skippy, because he may be
0.9 seconds. You need to be if you're within 0.9 seconds.
Okay, so he's a little outside of that up to Pete, but if he keeps that up, he may end up being that link from this. Oh, well, he's off track there, but that link between the second group and that front group. Of course, you know, you talked about working together. We saw some side-by-side racing and passing going on back there in what I think now can be considered the third group. We have the lead pack, we have Jeffrey Decker, and then we have the third group.
It's also quite impressive. We've got 32 cars that are on the lead lap still, 10 laps in, which I think is brilliant.
Yeah, it's really awesome to see, and also awesome to see is great racing throughout the field. I've got Scott Dorkins on here. Louis Baboni and Steve Dewar ahead of him.
Okay, we've just had a lead change. As Carl just passed Edwin into turn 2.
Hello? Hello? Uh-oh. You guys hear me? Alright, everybody. Stand by 1 second. My computer just had a stroke, so I need to figure out what exactly happened. Alright.
The gearbox of Beatty.
Paul
Beatty's gearbox.
Whatever you guys said for the last 30 seconds, it was not captured because my computer just absolutely died.
Well, it was the most amazing bit of commentary you've ever heard in your life.
Ian, thank you for sharing. That was life-changing.
You know, I could just drop the mic and go home now.
I hate you guys so much.
So something interesting to note is that the top 10 drivers in terms of starting position are still the same top 10. They've just been reorganized a little bit. So not a whole lot of change, at least among P1 through 10 from the start of the race.
Looking back a little further throughout the field, some folks that we didn't really get to talk too much about so far, I want to look at here. Doug Metzel Looking at Peter Lee in the 24 car. Look at this, all the way down the hill, man. Peter's gonna give up the spot there for P28. Doug Metzel trying to work his way back up. He's down 15 spots from his starting from his grid position, and he works his way around. Other battles throughout the field here. We've got Max in the 308 car, Gherkin and Kyle, and actually our Scott Bell and Adam Wright. These guys are all in a pretty good battle here. And a little further up, Louis, Scott, and Steve still having some fun going up the hill. Oh, they're going to 3 wide. Sorry, hold on. Steve backs out though. You can almost see him here. You can almost see him hit the brakes. Like, nope, we're not doing that, boys.
Discretion
That
being
was
the better part of valor
funny.
at that point.
I could actually see the weight transfer to the front there when he hit the brakes. Oh man. Yeah, he kept on there though. That's pretty good. He's right on Scott's gearbox there. He's not giving him any quarter.
Just going back to the front 4, and Pete is even closer. Oh, and now he's going to pass him. He's drafted past. He's drafting past Beatty into 3rd position, as Edwin is drafting past Carl Dronke back into 1st.
I think
and Judah Tolman quietly setting the fastest lap of a 2:30.8.
Whew.
That's quick. That's really quick.
Yep, and as Ian mentioned, Pete just slingshotted past Paul Beatty, and now Pete is in P3 behind Edwin, who is behind Carl Drunke in P1. Going into the final turn to end the lap, it looks like.
Yep.
So it looks like Carl is going to get the potential bonus point for this lap. I think Pete is happy about that, since he does not want Edwin to collect those bonus points.
Slingshotted? Slingshot.
Slingshot.
No, you're right. You're right. You were right. I don't know why that sounded funny to me.
He did slingshot around him.
He did.
There was a slingshot. It occurred.
And I'll tell you, Pete is catching really up to the back now of the front 2, going through turn 2 and up the hill.
In Carl's gearbox.
He really is. This is going to be a race, let me tell you. Oh my
I'm
God.
not sure if you can. Oh, a good view right now would be looking at Pete's nose cone, looking right in the front. That would be fantastic.
You got it.
So it looks like we're going up the hill. We're currently, I think we're looking at Pete right now.
I have a feeling that Pete is going to be looking to try and pass one or both of these guys on this downhill. I mean,
Ian, I think this is the start of the downhill here. This is the dancing down the hills, going left, going right, making sure you have your weight balance correct, making sure you have your grip. That turn right there that we just saw, that is one of those blind turns that Ian was talking about, where you almost want to try to hit the curve, but because of the change in elevation, it's going to be impossible because you won't have the grip. So it's interesting. You try to hit the corner, but you don't actually hit it. And that's how tight these turns are. And now we're going into the long straight, and Pete might get enough of a draft to slingshot past these 2 guys, but there's a bit of a gap, as looks like Carl is going to be making his way past Edwin as well.
And Pete's coming. Pete's coming. It looks like Pete's going to take him. And Pete's taking it. And he's passed. He's passed into 2nd.
I don't know about this fuel saving strategy here. This is
So Pete's now in 2nd. Carl's in 1st. And Pete's going into the pits. He's going into the pit. Okay, here we go.
Are you okay?
bit of strategy going on here, boys and girls. As he trundles down pit lane, as the cars come streaming past, and you'll see him dropping down the order.
Pete has been a maverick in terms of pitting whenever he wants, seemingly different from the rest of the group. So this doesn't surprise me that much that he's got his own unique strategy.
Pete is the honey badger of the
he's
league.
He's down in 9th. Now, last time he lost, and he's gone. Wait, no, he's not gone. What's he doing? Oh, there we go.
He's
on his way out. He's on his way out. So he's down into 10th, 12th, comes out in 12th.
Real quick, I want to just say, great battle going on here between Tom Fodos and Sean Trediak. A little further back through the field for P11, but that was pretty exciting going up the hill.
What you want to do is try and do a run. Try and do a run on someone's front left suspension.
I said Sean Trediak. I meant Justin Rubello. But yeah, these guys seem very evenly matched, and
Pete's up into 12th. He's really got to make this lap count. Now, the others should be thinking about, well, especially Carl and Paul Beatty should be thinking about pitting to try and prevent the undercut. Or to be an overcut. Overcut?
Well, I don't know, but Carl is using that draft to full effect as he slings out wide to the right to try to make the pass. I do not believe that pitting is on his mind at the moment.
Well, I'll tell you something. Pete is giving this full beans. You know, this is hammer time, Pete Mabrodden style.
All or nothing. I'm curious. I'm really curious to see. So let me look. I'm gonna cheat without bringing it up on the screen. Pete Mabrodden, 48.37 seconds on pit lane. That's, I think, quicker than his last pit stop, if I'm remembering correctly. So,
oh my gosh!
So I don't know, everyone.
I think we're gonna run out of gas.
That seems bold. He's pitting earlier and staying in there later. So
we shall see. What do you think, Chris?
I'm interested to see what's going to happen with Pete. It's curious because the front group is starting another lap and none of them pit either. So he's pit at least 2 laps earlier than those guys, while already pitting earlier than them earlier in the race. So I am curious what his strategy is.
Well,
I'm hoping we can get him in the booth afterwards.
His last lap was a 3 minutes and 992 of a second. So a 3:01 basically. Pete is flying. And I see people coming out of the pit too wide. Oh my God.
Yeah, we've got a lot of draft and pit and all sorts of strategy going on. So let me look at pit lane, pit lap. We'll bring that up. Folks can see maybe who has yet to pit. The top 4, I believe, have yet to pit. Sean Trediak in P6 has yet to pit. He is up 8 spots. Pete Mabrodden up 2 spots, and Justin Rubello currently sitting in P4, up 14 spots. Out there on his own. A little further back, we have Gherkin, Demir, and Kyle Reed going to battle for P23. Kyle up now 18 positions total from his grid position. Gherkin up 3. You guys there?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm just watching Carl take the lead again.
I'm just
Carl's
worried.
once again to the lead.
I'm just worried about my computer.
And Carl's pitting. Carl is pitting.
All the top 3 diving in behind Carl all have the same
right.
idea.
All right, so now
You
keep an eye
might
on
want to
Pete.
follow Pete so that when he comes around the final turn, see if he's coming out in front of or behind Carl.
Because
So that's
Pete is now. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say when we did this last time, it looked like Pete was much further up the track when we focused on him to see
Well,
where he
Pete's
was.
coming in. He's coming into the last turn of the track now. He's
Oh,
pitting.
he's pitting again?
Why
Oh,
is
he
he
must have
pitting
had
again?
a penalty.
No, he could not because he stopped last time. This must be a penalty. Maybe he's speeding in the pits. Yeah, it looks like he's just going straight through. Oh no!
I
What
want
a
to hear that.
pain.
I cannot wait to watch that stream.
No, he's stopping. He's stopping. He's pulling into his pit box. What is going on? And he's
For a
gone
second,
again.
it was a
It
stop
was
and
stop and
go.
go. Yeah, the stop and go penalty. Oh my gosh. And he's not
Yikes.
coming out in a really neat place either. So, that looks like it's lights out for Pete unless something happens at the front.
You really hate to see it.
I guess he's going to have to settle for third place overall in the season.
Yeah. Well, settle for third place.
Yeah. If only.
You know, I'll just settle for third place, you know.
I'm going to guess with what I know about Pete that he will actually be disappointed with that.
Right.
Well, I like to hear
as
that.
he should be. As
Yeah.
he should be. All right, a little further back here, look at Jason Weiss leading the pack of Jeffrey Decker and Judah Tolman. These are all very fine drivers, like we said, in their own right, battling for P4. At the moment, it does look like the podium, barring some, craziness, is decided. Edwin, Carl, Paul, in some order. But Jason, Jeffrey, and Judah really going to town on that P4 spot. These guys have a fantastic rapport, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do here in the final 7 minutes of the race as they're heading down the hill themselves. Oh! I'm sorry, Judah looked like he lost a wheel on my screen. I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, this group, I think this is what the first, maybe second chase group. We have Jason. It looks like Decker is right, making the pass on Jason, and behind him is Judah Tolman. And that is a fine group of racers right there. I know all of them can give it as well as they get. And my gosh, some of the best battles I've had this season have been with all three of these guys. So the fact that they're in this group together, I'm sure they are having a blast, but they're also trying to see how they can get in front of each other.
You can see Jason's front wing there had a little love.
Yeah, and actually Jeffrey Decker right in front of him has the exact same vent week. Oh, as Jeffrey goes up and Jason maintains. That's not going to be a big deal. He'll be able to maintain the gap. I'll just have to try to pass him later on. Although with 6 minutes left in the race, we're looking at probably 3 more laps.
Yeah. It's counting down. People are probably rightfully so, getting a little nervous here about what they can accomplish. You can see Pete Mulbron there in the back of this pack. He found himself in P12 at the end of all of that. And best case scenario, Jonathan Dance is currently sitting up at the front of this draft pack in P9. So again, unless something crazy happens, I think that's the best finish that Pete can hope for this evening.
Yeah. Looking further back in the pack, there's some really good racing going on. Steve Dewar and Aaron La and Metzel are all in a little pack together, duking it out as they go around all of this track. Good fun to see all that going on.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you're looking at Adam Wright is at the back of a pack of himself, Kyle Reed, and Gurkin Demir. And if my memory serves me correctly, these guys have been together for most of, if not the entire race. So I know these guys are probably thinking maybe a little bit of strategy, maybe a little bit of trying to see who's going to start the next lap first, who's going to start second, maybe use the draft to try to get past them.
if you can get that much time around other drivers, you kind of start to learn what their tendencies are and, you know, maybe some of their instincts, and that can kind of play into the end of the race here where if you're really paying attention, use that to your advantage. But
Oh, absolutely. Different drivers, even if they have very similar lap times, they might have different brake or turn-in points. So you need to be aware of that if you're behind them, so that if your brake point is a little bit later, you're not going to run into the back of them, and vice versa. And Kyle
Okay,
Reed, gosh, I love the paint scheme of this, the 888 of Kyle Reed.
The Triple Eight is pretty, isn't it? I like that
Yeah.
flat black.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And Kyle
right
Reed,
now-
actually, speaking of the 888, qualified 41 all the way up to 23. It looks like 18 spots.
Yeah. Chris, I'll tell you, a great camera view is looking back on. Oh, and his Triple Eight goes by him. There you go. Watch that.
Yeah.
Here we come.
great minds think alike.
There we go. Picked him up on the draft and did a little old slingshot. I was about to say the left suspension view is amazing from
The left
Gherkin's
suspension.
car.
Alright.
Yeah, so you can sort of sit there and see behind you. Maybe try the left suspension on Kyle's car. I'm just looking back at Gherkin right behind him.
Oh,
Incredible
I
shot.
hit the wrong one there.
So it looks like Carl, currently in P1, followed immediately by Edwin. They're about to start going down the mountain. And
Yeah, these guys have really
once they
separated themselves,
finish-
haven't they? Holy crap.
Yeah, exactly. And once they finish this
Watch
lap,
this- watch
they will
this
be.
here.
At start
He's
finish,
going
they
to
will
pull
be
out
starting
and
time
go
lap.
through the draft. Woo! Oh my gosh! What great racing!
So I think the terminology is white flag this time by.
White flag this time by.
Yeah.
Love it.
So it looks like Edwin making the move. He's passing Carl going into the final straight. And then I believe they have a little kink to the right, a turn to the left, and then maybe two 90-degree corners until they get to the start finish. And then the final lap of the final race of the season.
That's it. All the marbles on the
Wow.
line here.
Well, let's see what happens now. I'm not seeing a white flag. I didn't see a white flag. Maybe there's another lap in it. Do you spot a white flag, guys?
I didn't, but I can't imagine that they're going to make it around again for another lap, right?
I don't know. I didn't. I don't know. That's really weird.
Well, we've got another. So Edwin and Carl find themselves tightly packed. We've also got, though, Jason, Jeffrey, and Judah tightly packed. A little further back. Holy cow, look at this, everybody. Justin Rebello making the pass on Pete. Going up the hill for potentially the final time. Justin, Pete, Jonathan, Jack, and Thomas.
And Bell is slowing. Bell is out.
Oh,
He
no.
is stopped. Bell has stopped on the track and had to go back to the pits and reset. Oh man, I wonder what happened. I did not see what happened there.
Yeah, so we have passed the 45-minute timer to Jeremy's point there. So I imagine, that regardless, this is going to be the last lap, whether or not we got the official notification. I think we'll look down here at the leaders. Man, there's just so much to look at. But since the race is so close for the lead, we're going to focus on this. Edwin and Carl down the hill one final time. As Chris said, this is it. This is the final lap of the official Season 4 Sunday Night Skippy Racing League. Carl right on the bumper.
Oh my gosh. He's going for it. Edwin has maintained the overlap, so he's not giving up the position. Pulls back a little bit. I'm guessing he's going to try to pull some draft coming out of this final curve to the right. Then we have one final 90-degree turn to the left, and then we have the finish line. So if Edwin's going to make a move, it's got to be coming out of this turn. Or going into it.
He's trying. Oh, he can't do it. He can't do it.
Excellent defense from Carl Dronke. Well done on the win. Nicely done. And then it looks like we have Paul Beatty, an Australian, fittingly, finishing out the podium here in Bathurst.
Very nice.
Congrats to these guys. Well done.
What a race. What a race.
All right, let's see. I'm guessing it's over. Have they stopped racing yet? Or are they still going at it?
Nope. Yeah, that was the checkered flag. So
okay.
we've
got.
Yeah. Yep. There was JR Hoops coming across the line just now. Sean Trediak just behind him.
If you can find Kyle Reed, you should probably look at Kyle Reed. He is in a tight battle with Adam Wright, and they're coming to the finish line.
Oh, Kyle looks to the inside.
Here we go. Final turn. 9 degrees to the left. Adam Wright taking the inside line.
And he takes him. He takes him right there.
Oh, wow. Just like that. But still a great finish from Kyle Reed. Starting in 41 and finishing, it looks like P22. Well done.
What a race, guys. What a race.
Nikolai Wood crosses the line. Doug Metzel will be next. And actually, keep an eye there on Carl Dronke. We've got, thanks to Jake Ashe, by the way, I meant to say this earlier. Jake Ashe making the start and finish line cameras in addition to the jump cam. So we'll keep an eye on Carl. Let's take away all of the unnecessary stuff. This is the famous Bathurst jump. Congratulations as we wait for all the shenanigans. Just a huge congratulations to all of the drivers on a fantastic Season 4. Nice job to Carl there on full display, doing his flips. Did not quite clear the wall. Great win for him. Edwin actually
Edwin's running out of gas. Edwin is running out of gas. He's rolling down the hill onto the long downhill through the Falcon Tire corner, and he is out of gas. He is just rolling.
You know what? If my math is correct, then with Carl's win today, he started the race in 8th place overall. It looks like he slingshot past Luis Baboni and Ruben Ray, and I think that takes Carl all the way up to 6th place overall in the season.
Good gracious, that's good job.
Nice.
Good job there.
Jeffrey Decker, I think he solidified. He's got the P4, followed by Walter Collada. Actually, did we see Walter racing today? I don't think we did, right?
That's a good question.
Yeah, normally we would see him near the front, if not at the very
I
front.
did
Yeah,
not see Walter today.
Okay, that's interesting, which means he may have dropped behind Carl as well, in which case Carl could have potentially gotten P5 overall for the season. Interesting. We'll have to take a look at how the Dan Lisa scoring works out after this, but I know that Walter had a drop week of a 0-point finish, and he was 29, 32, 35 points ahead of Carl. So if he didn't race today, and then that means Carl is going to get pure 43 plus points on him, which means he may have jumped past him.
And that is how close the season is. That is awesome to see.
As you see Edwin Trundle roll, gasping for fuel.
Did he want to try the jump one more time?
Oh, he can't make it jump. He's rolling into the pits.
I'm getting notification here. We got to check out the Mobrotin Rebello jump. So I got to figure out how to do that. We may have to do a little bit of manual reverse here. Bigowski clears it. Oh. Nelson Addison clears it.
Nelson Addison clears it, loses the wheel. Oh, but it pops back in. This is great. I don't think I was aware of it. I probably would have raced if I knew there was a nice jump at the end.
There's a nice, yeah. This is, uh-oh.
So I can at least say definitively the top 4 overall positions for the season. We have in P4, Jeffrey Decker. This is unofficial, by the way. This is just based on my math. We have Jeffrey Decker in 4th overall. In 3rd place, we have Pete Mobrotin. 2nd place, Edwin Vallarino. And then 1st place, Christopher Herrera.
Nice.
Who's that Christopher Herrera guy?
Yeah. Sounds handsome.
I don't know, but he sounds charming and handsome. So, you know. Oh, what's this? I'm also getting he's very humble.
Yeah, right. Humble too.
There you go.
That's funny. All right, well let's check out who is in the Discord here. Sorry. Trying to do a couple things at once.
Looks like we've got Jason, Judah, and Paul standing by.
Yeah, well we always leave Jason for the end.
Oh yeah. That's what he gets.
Yeah, exactly. So Paul Beatty we've got in
maybe if you finish top 3.
Yeah, Paul, a podium finish, by the way, on the home track, or what I assume is the home track. I don't know. Is it?
Yeah, pretty much. It's just 3 hours down the road from me.
There you go. All right, very nice. Well, hey, I know you're pretty excited for this race. What was your thought process going into it? And you ended up. I think you started P3 and you ended P3. So really a strong race overall. Really, what I want to know is how did you feel about the 2 pit stop strategy?
Oh, I really enjoyed it actually. It was cool. Especially a pit stop at Bathurst because I know how to chuck the car in quickly because I had to do that to catch Edwin and Carl up after the first stint. They sort of dropped me a little bit, so I just chucked it in there and managed to get back within 0.8 of them. But yeah, 2 pit stops was great.
Nice. So is this a track that you've been comfortable with all along, or did you have to put in a lot of effort going into it?
No, well, I used to be in a Friday night league, and we used to run a lot of endurance races at Bathurst in different cars and a lot of Skippy. So this is the track I've done more laps at than it. I've done thousands of laps here. I know it really well, but it still doesn't make it any less scary. If it's not, if you're not scared, you're not going fast enough,
I love it.
I like it. I like it.
That's a perfect analysis right there, man. That's well, hey, congratulations on a great season, well run. Do you have anybody that you want to give a shout out to? Anybody watching, or the floor is yours, my friend.
Oh well, my team, VDR team Milo. I am so happy with that podium. I really am. I mean, when I was looking at that lineup, I've done a lot of races here this week, and there's people like Judah and Paul Buckler could pull out a couple. Oh, I mean, there's so many fast people. So I just wanted to qualify well and see how it went. And so who else shall I say hello to? Alex McKellar, who does the Sunday night top split race over here, which was the big race we had in Australia last night. That didn't go so well. I span at the first corner, so that was rubbish. The first 20 yards of that race were great, but that was the end of it. Who else? I don't know, man. Everyone who's raced here, it's been the most fun week I've had in a Skippy, I think, since I've joined iRacing. It's just been, and thanks to Edwin and Carl for that. The first few laps they were dragging me along a bit, and then I started getting comfortable, and I'm thinking, okay, I might have the measure of these. And then Pete came along and it's like, oh no. And then at the end, they dropped me. Sorry, am I going on too long? Are you time
No,
constrained?
you're good,
no.
mate. You're good. You go for it. Go for
Okay,
it.
so in the second stint, they came out of the pits quicker than me. I'd lost the draft. And I'm looking at is the relative, because I think it was Jason and Jeffrey. They were drafting behind me, and I'm seeing the relative, and it's going. I was a sitting duck. It was going 3 seconds, 2.5, 2, and I'm just holding on to my pants and just praying. And by the end, I think it was Jason was right up me. It's so close at the end. It's what a brilliant race! Brilliant race. Oh no!
Yeah, Paul,
Thanks to you guys. Thanks to Sunday Night Splits. I love the racing with you guys. It's so much fun.
Yeah, I know you joined. It looks like what 7, 8 weeks ago, and this is by far your best finish, both in terms of qualifying as well as the overall finish. So prior to today, your best qualifying was a P8, and your best finish was a P5. So Q3, P3. This was a fantastic finish. I'm really happy that you're able to
Take
do
that
it.
any day.
Not only for the season finale, but also in one of your home tracks. So it's fun watching you, and it's great to hear that you're having a great time.
It's the only track I've driven in real life because it's a public road. And believe me, in real life, you drive around this thing, you think, no, cars don't race around this. This is crazy. It really is. That speed coming down the dipper, it is just insane. But thanks. Thanks. Oh, podium. I can't believe it. Not in this field. That's crazy stuff. Brilliant.
Congratulations.
Love it.
Well done.
Love it.
Thanks, guys.
So,
you,
quick
Paul.
question. The next race we've got is our week 14 madness that we usually organize. You think week 13? Sorry. Are you gonna join us for that? We're not sure exactly what it's going to be yet, but it usually is. Well, I don't know. It's sort of all sorts of things, really, isn't it? We've had a endurance race in Skippies, and we've had multi-class races, and we'll have something or the other. We'll fix
whatever it is. Yeah, it's going to be a laugh. I mean, yeah, it definitely. It's a good, very good league here. I mean, yeah, no, I love it. Definitely. If it's in a different car, I'm down the back because the only thing I can drive is a Skippy. But I'll have a go.
That's the whole point.
But,
all right, mate.
All right, Paul. Well,
have a good one.
Congratulations once again, and we look forward to racing with you next week.
Cheers, man. Bye-bye.
Take care, Paul.
Bye-bye.
All right. Let's see. Next up, we've kept him waiting long enough. Judo was one of the first ones in, and
I was literally sitting there going, "What the fuck, bro? Why is my car going?"
Okay. We're gonna try somebody else. How about Jeffrey Decker? Just for a moment there. Jeffrey started and finished P5 and had a pretty good race. It looked like you had quite a good amount of competition there too. That was a well-earned P5, I should say, based on the level and quality of the drivers that you were racing against. So talk me through what you saw out there today.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah, I mean, the main thing is we had a good lead pack going. I think Judah made a little bit of a bobble, and then we kind of lost them. But then between him, Vice, and myself, we had just an awesome back and forth. Pretty much the whole race after that. I thought after the pit stops, I might be able to get back to the lead pack. I was pretty close to Pete, and he was pretty close to them, but he had a little bit more draft than me, and then just dropped me. So. But yeah, awesome fight for P5, and we almost, I guess, P4 at the end. But we almost caught Beatty too. So just a lot of fun. Probably one of the funnest races season.
Awesome. We had a lot of fun watching it. I must admit.
I wasn't there, I mean, to rub it in our faces he's champion or whatever. But yeah, no, it was good. I think.
Oh,
is he gone?
He's got no response. I don't know. Is he there?
Whoa.
Oh yes, I'm here. Sorry, was that I was trying to figure out how I could look at the overall results for this particular race.
He wasn't. He was just ignoring you, mate. He was ignoring you. That's what it was.
Yeah, absolutely perfect.
He was like, he's talking about me. I'm not going to listen. That's what it is.
Power move. No, so Jeff, I was going to say, this is your 1, 2, 3, 4. This is your 5th top 5 finish this season. And I can only imagine that some of these other finishes that you had throughout the season, like a P26, a P34, a P15, those have to be flukes. So if you can, I imagine you're going to want to work on your consistency, and if you can do that, you got to be in the running for top 3 overall for the season, along some of these other people moving forward. So I imagine this is probably a good finish for you, right? With the P5, or I think you said something about the P4 towards the end.
Yeah, it was pretty close to P4, but I ended up P5.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, actually, the season went pretty well outside of I got like kind of like crashed out of 2 races that were like simple mistakes, no ill intent or anything like that. But the one that really guts me this season is at VIR. I like worked my way back up to P4 on the last lap and then spun myself and then had a battery join and got killed. Or I did the killing, I guess, in that case because I'm rejoining. But yeah, outside of
that
I
was
think
the qualified 4, finished 34 in that one. That was probably one
yeah.
which you hadn't had to use as a skip week.
Yeah. I definitely wish that P4 there would have helped out a lot. But hey, I mean, it's a tough season, and there are like way too many quality drivers to be upset about finishing P4 in the championship.
Yep, I was just about to mention, I think unofficially, if my math is correct, you have finished a very strong 4th place finish with quite a gap between you and P5.
Nice. Did the B team, did we hang on to 2nd and live up to our name?
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
That's
mate.
actually a really good question. Let's
Yeah,
look
I
at the
think
team
we-
standings.
I think we had like
Yeah,
a 2
so
or
you-
3 point gap.
Yeah,
All right, so
exactly.
Jeff,
Without,
if I can,
I was gonna
I
say
just wanted to
without
get some
Chris
thoughts
running tonight,
on.
and James, then I think you got that firmed up there.
Nice. The B team. If you can't get the A team, you get
Finishes
the
in
B team.
second.
There we go.
So
Oh,
going
yeah.
into next season, assuming that you'll be coming back, which I hope you are, because I very much enjoy racing with you. And if you can give away some
Oh,
of your
yeah.
inside secrets right now, what if you could focus on 1 or 2 things that you're planning on really focusing on for next season to help improve on a P4 overall for the season? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I think when to pick my spots for aggression, because a lot of times I've been pretty passive. Like I've been pretty happy to follow, I think. And in some races, I think that's meant either losing a pack because I didn't make an overtake that I should have when I had the chance. So I think, yeah, just picking my moments a little bit better by, I guess, just taking them as opposed to letting them pass.
Yeah, that absolutely makes sense. I was talking with Chris and Ian earlier, and they were asking about my methodology or my strategy. In general, I want to be as far forward as possible because then if there's a gap, then on courses like this, the front pack is just going to pull further and further away. And you probably saw that firsthand.
Yeah, funny enough, I think actually the first race I started to think that was at the Glen with you. I think I started right behind you, or maybe you right behind me, and then you ended up, running with the main pack, and I got cut off when some people made some mistakes, and I was just like, "Yep, all right, I see what I got to do now."
Happens once, and then you change your whole strategy.
Yep. But anyways, yeah, it was a good season. I mean, if at the beginning of the season, I think I said like if I could finish top 10 in standings, I'd be super happy. So yeah, 4th is
you did that with
amazing.
flying colors. That's awesome.
And then some. Awesome, man. Well, hey, you have any shout outs you want to give? The floor is yours, my friend.
Yeah, I think the main thing is just thanks. I have some like friends that watch every now and again, so thank you guys for watching when you do. And then I want to thank Luis Baboni because we were teammates this season and we had a good time doing that. Coming second in the team standings is I think a pretty good accomplishment for us. And then shout out to you guys for doing these broadcasts week in and week out, and really giving our friends and family something to tune into.
Awesome, man. Well,
Good
hey, it was
stuff.
a pleasure. It's our pleasure watching you. Honestly, it's a great performance you guys put on, and I know people put a lot of work into practicing every week to make Sunday nights. Just a lot of fun to watch, and hopefully families are out there, friends are out there, just kind of tuning in and sharing in something that we all enjoy doing. So, congratulations on the finish today, on the season finish overall, and best of luck to you next season.
Thanks, guys. Cheers. See you soon.
Take it easy.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, let's bring in. Yeah, we didn't. We tried Judah earlier. Judah, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Hey, there
Hello,
you are, bud. All
Hey,
right.
Judah.
I think we caught a private moment there for you earlier, but we got P6 overall tonight. But I gotta say we were watching you in a very tight battle there, pretty much throughout the entire race. with somebody at least. So going into this race, this is Mount Panorama. This is not one that I've ever personally done in the Skippy, and I don't remember when the last time it was done officially. So is it like, what is your experience here at Bathurst in iRacing?
I honestly I love the track, but I've had a lot of fun this week, but I don't know what the hell was wrong with my car today. I felt like I was down 5 horsepower the whole race. I felt very confident down the mountain, but on the straights, I couldn't catch up, and not quite sure why. Paul said that it looked like I had some nose cone damage. I'm not sure if that was netcode because I I didn't get a 0x contact at any point, and I used my faster pair when I went into the pits the first time, and the car just did not feel right, and I'm not sure what happened. I'm
Yeah.
pretty disappointed. I think I could have pulled out at least a third place finish there.
Well, I hear what you're saying, mate. Sometimes you can pick up a little bit of damage, like floor damage or something that you don't actually see that does end up giving you that, that causes your car to run a bit slower. And it's nothing you can actually see. And yeah, these things happen. And I feel for you. I feel for you because
Yeah, and
you're
not to
trying to get
discount the disappointment, since it sounds like you had the speed for top 3 overall. But I'm looking at your results from the season. You joined, it looks like 8 weeks ago, and 1, 2, 3, 4. This is your 8th race with Sunday Night Skippy. And then let me just read some numbers here. I'm going to go through your finish position, starting with the first race: 6, 7, 4, 1, 4, 4, 4, and then a 6 today. So for those who are counting at home, it's 8 straight races since he joined, all within the top 10, and all but 2 within the top 5. So if you were to maintain that for an entire season, and if my math is correct with the extrapolation, you would have been in contention for top 3, 4 overall on the season at this point, if you maintain that general finishes that you had been doing. So excited to have you in the league. At the same time, a little anxious to see how much faster you get, because it's real scary.
Well, I appreciate it, guys. I really do.
Well,
means a
you
lot.
just got to make sure you unstick the bubble gum that Chris put on the bottom of your car to slow you down.
Yeah.
Because obviously it
Promise
was
you
a
wouldn't say anything.
test. It was a test, to see if it worked. So Chris Herrera's out there. I saw him in the Parc Ferme with his bubble gum. So keep an eye, mate.
Yeah. All right, well, guys, I appreciate it, and I will next week, the off season, and we'll see each other at Olton, I believe, in 2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
Nice.
Or
right.
we'll try and figure out a week 13 race, which will confuse everybody,
Yeah.
just for
All right.
fun. All right, man. Take care.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Have a good one.
Bye. Yeah.
All right, we'll bring in Jonathan Dockery, and this was a tough track, I think, for everybody, but overall, it seemed like people were pretty happy with it. Unique experience, I think, for everyone. Interesting race to go into the final race of the season, or interesting track for the final race of the season, I should say. So yeah, how'd you feel about how everything went tonight?
It's all right. I was decent here all week, but I knew coming into the night I had to clear a penalty, so I just wanted to have a clean race. So the start was a little rough, but overall it wasn't bad.
Good.
I pitted with the leaders. They were catching me, so then whenever I came out with Paul Bachler and Jason and all of them, and at that point I wanted to see if I could stay with them, and I was able to stay within the second of Paul Bachler for like the last stint there, so it was fun. I just wanted to say thanks for all the broadcasts y'all do, and to the stewards for all they do, and I'm looking forward to next season if I get a return. So
Yeah.
Awesome,
next
man.
season
Well,
should be fun.
we were just looking at your jump attempt there. It did not go well.
nah, I was damaged, so I was like, I'll try it, but I think I hit it wrong, but I was damaged and the car was sliding, so. Right.
It's good times.
Mm.
All right,
I
man.
wish,
Well, hey. Oh, sorry.
wish the team thing had gone a little better, but it was
Yeah,
all right.
well, yeah, I think we're voting on some changes for next season, and we'll see how that all goes. But we're the Sunday Night Skippy constantly evolving and adjusting to league member requests and all that. So hey, overall, pretty fun season, and maybe we'll see you for week 13. But either way, nice job, man, and we will see you in a couple of weeks.
Cool. Thanks for all y'all do.
All right.
All right, take care, Jonathan.
You all do. Oh, congrats on the championship, Chris.
Oh, thank you, man. Appreciate it.
All right, that's Jonathan Dockery. And last and least, no, sorry, that's not right. I said that wrong. Jason Weiss. Jason Weiss had a pretty good run, I would say. P4 overall. Really, actually, honestly, the whole finish to the season. We saw, at least at some point in the qualifying, Jason has the quote-unquote provisional pole. Ends up kind of losing it, but we are calling out the number 21 at some point during qualifying, and I would say I don't know. Chris is the handyman with the stats over there. So anecdotally, though, I want to say that I've seen the number 21 car much higher up on the timing tower for the end of the season than I did in the beginning of the season, and this has got to feel really good coming out with a P4 up 2 spots overall. How did you see the race?
Through a lot of sweat. It was intense. That's by far the most fun I've had in the league so far. That was pretty much a knife fight start to finish, in a very good way. It was incredible. I can't speak for Jeff and Judah. I know Judah had a little bit of nose cone damage from what I understand, but I made quite a few conscious decisions throughout the race to go ahead and battle. Really just, hey, it's the last race. I didn't think we were going to catch the front pack, so let's at least keep it interesting and fun and make it a bit of a learning experience for myself, if nothing else. But man, that last lap, my original plan was to not pass Decker on that first straight after the left. And but as we turned onto it, I realized that if I was able to slingshot past him, I'd have about 20 to 25 hundredths that I'd have to make up on my own before I could get into Paul Beatty's draft. So, the risk in doing that is if I don't pull that off and I don't get into his draft, then I run a very high risk of finishing third out of the group, out of me, Jeff, and Judah. So I went ahead and took the shot and managed to track Beatty down, but it just wasn't enough. And man, like a car length behind him crossing the finish line, that very, very bittersweet, because I'm very proud of being able to make up that ground. This is his home track. He's put down some redonkulous times this week. He's been very consistent here. So really proud of that, but man, that podium would have tasted good.
Yeah, every time we switched to you, you were in some sort of battle, whether it was with the lead group at the beginning or with the chase group that was still pretty close to the front of the pack. Every time we switched to Jason Weiss, you were battling, it looks like, with Paul or Jeffrey or Judah or even some other folks. So it looked like it was very fun. And, in that respect, I'm a little sad I wasn't able to race, but at the same time, this is really cool from this perspective. And looking at the numbers here, it looks like this is your 7th top 10 finish of the season.
Nice.
And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th of top 5 finish on the season. So I think it's fair to say that Jason Weiss might be becoming a problem soon.
Yeah. Accurate.
No, actually, all joking aside, I've definitely noticed an increase both in overall speed as well as consistency from you. And I imagine, I would hope that you have recognized that as well, because I'm definitely seeing some much faster and consistent times. And at least from my side, I've put a lot of my, at least better finishes, a lot of that to racing you guys specifically as Sunday Night Skippy, because some of the best racing is here. And so you learn a lot, you get a lot of experience. So I'm hoping that's the case for you as well, because I'd like to hear that, you're having as good of a time as the rest of us are.
Absolutely. It's kind of funny, when the first few public races I even did on the service, for some reason your name stuck out. Like whenever I did a race, you and I just seemed to be near each other. And then we started the league, and you joined, and you and I were near each other for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then you just disappeared, and really haven't seen you since. So just been tracking you down over the course of the past 12 months.
Oh,
So-
Jason, I'm so sorry, mate. Jason, Chris, Jason.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, hey. Anyway.
So yeah, I don't know. You just disappeared all of a sudden way back in season 1, and it's been a long hunt finding you again.
And actually, I'm looking at your
Well-
overall. So it looks like you finish either P10 or P11 overall in the season, but that is with based on the skill that I know you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks that could have been considered dry. So
Yeah, I had a
That's
few rough.
my guess is that if 3 of those races, had they gone more according to plan, you would have significantly higher up in the overall championship standings.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I shot myself in the foot the very first week of the season. I dropped a wheel at Lime Rock. I honestly thought that could have been my first win.
Or
So
P24.
yeah, that was painful. That was painful. So, but yeah, I mean, tonight was my new favorite track, and it was an incredible race.
Well,
Yeah, it looks like you
real
finished the
quick-
season, the last 3 races, top 10. Well done.
Thank you.
Real quick, speaking on behalf of all the admins, because we make you do that from time to time, but this was the end of another fantastic season of Sunday Night Skippy, the 4th season, if you can believe it. We're already through 4 seasons now, going into our 5th, and tell the fans, if you can, or if you want to, if not, that's fine. What maybe we can expect any sort of potential changes or mixing things up as we go into season number 5 of Sunday Night Skippy Racing.
Yeah, for sure. So, as you know, we've been kicking around a few ideas. We had our end of season survey close, I think, late last week. And for one thing, we had 41 responses to that out of 61 or 62 members, which is probably the highest response rate we've ever had. So to everybody that responded to that survey, we really appreciate it. That really helps us. That takes a lot of the guesswork out of trying to figure out how to keep things fresh. A lot of people have said, hey, it's not broke, don't try to fix it. But at the same time, it's fun to spice things up every now and then. So one of the things that came through in the survey was really, really strong support for a second pit stop. And as you saw tonight, we gave that a shot. And I've seen a few people already say that they really enjoyed it. I certainly really enjoyed it. Everybody who's been a part of Walter's practice sessions on Friday nights, we've been doing that all season long. And the feedback I think that he's received has been extremely positive. So what's nice is it kind of gives us an excuse to throw a second faster pair in there. And that shakes up the race. It takes a lot of the focus, and maybe Chris, you can correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't actually spend a lot of time in the lead pack, but I think that it probably shakes things up after the changes that we made last season with all the points that you get for the laps led. Adding a second pit stop really puts you to a couple hard decisions, I think. And Chris, again, certainly correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it adds some complexity to the strategy of the top 3, 4, 5 cars.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I think we saw a little bit of that today. I was hoping we could get Pete in the interview booth because he pit early and he also did a third pit stop. Not entirely sure whether that was a slowdown penalty or something like that. But with regards to the dual pit strategy, it's definitely interesting, especially because with the season, you guys added the new laps led bonus incentive. So, for X number of laps, you get an extra bonus point at the end of the race. So it's not so much that you want to feel save anymore because you want to be at the front of the pack if possible to get collect those bonus points.
Yeah, absolutely.
I really like how you guys did that because it's it makes the race more exciting, not only to be in, but also when I watch it afterwards, it's a lot more fun to watch because everyone's trying to be at the front, and adding the second pit stop adds a little bit more complexity to it, but the overall strategy is still the same, at least in terms of if you're trying to collect bonus points. Exactly.
So it's been well received. So I don't know that we'll do that at every track. There are a few tracks where pit stops are precarious enough that
Yeah.
we want to minimize pit exits as much as possible. Sonoma's one. I know Sakuba's not on the schedule next season, but if it were, we definitely wouldn't do it there. But my guess is 2/3, 3/4 of the tracks will probably see a second pit stop. A lot of other feedback that we got was, and this is just a little bit of real talk here. A lot of people who aren't part of the top 10 feel like there's a lot of emphasis in the league on that top 10. I mean, naturally, that's just where the conversation goes. That's where the broadcast goes. Nobody was critical of that at all. Just there are people further down in the pack that want something else that they can shoot for. So one of the things that we're going to do is add a bonus point for most positions gained. We're calling it the hard charger bonus. And then a bonus point for the safest race. And folks in the top 10 are not eligible for this bonus, but positions 11 on downward to 45, if you finish with the lowest incident count or tie for the lowest incident count, then you get a bonus point. So a few little incentives there and something to shoot for if you're not fighting for the podium.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. And I think those are probably the biggest changes. There's a change around how we handle penalties. They're pretty stiff right now. If you have a safety score below 0, you have to do a drive-through penalty at your next race. And if you complete that penalty and run a clean race, you get 5 bonus points added to your safety score. And what Walter suggested, and I think he's kicked this around before, is once somebody drops below 20, don't necessarily make them do a drive-through, but any penalty they receive while they're in that sort of red zone or danger zone, whatever you want to call it, any incident that's at fault in that range will be an automatic black flag at their next race. So basically, if you drop into that space, as long as you keep your nose clean, you won't actually have to serve a black flag. So hopefully that puts people in a little more control of their own fate, their own destiny, and it doesn't get really hopeless if you find yourself at 12, 13 safety points. You've still got something to fight for. So yeah.
And we're on the subject of the safety points and even just the general topic of are all working together to continually make improvements to the league. I got to make it known I am just a guest, and the guys that are here with me, Jason, Chris, Smorrel, and Ian, actual league admins, and it's incredible how much work that they do behind the scenes, and they spend their volunteer time and hours reviewing race footage to assign penalty points and see if anyone is at fault and at blame for certain incidents, and scores and respond to complaints, which I'm guessing are numerous, and put together the surveys and look at the results and just administer the entire league. And at least for me, for my part, it's very, very much appreciated. And just stepping into the booth a little bit today, I realize I have a much, much better appreciation for what Chris and Ian do every single week. This was a little bit hectic trying to follow everybody, and that's just a part of the number of hours and the effort that you guys put into this league. And I think it shows that not only are you guys in this for fun, but you're also in it because you believe in it. And I think that heart and that passion really comes through, as evidenced by we have caps on the number of people that we can have in these races because people want to be in here. Well, thank you for everything. It's really awesome.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. And if you ever get a chance, look up SDK Gaming and look at the dashboard that Chris has to work with when he's doing the broadcast.
Oh, that's what I was trying to do today. I was trying to do a crash course, and it was not very smooth.
Yeah, he's over there launching missiles and rockets. Yeah,
we did well.
But we've got a great group of racers and an awesome team of admins and stewards. So the year's just flown by.
It's a little dusty in here, guys.
It has.
I'm not crying. You're crying.
But Jason, I mean, think about where we were this time last year. We were just coming up to the end of our first season. Well, it wasn't even a full season. It was 4 races?
First season, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
You know?
honestly, this time last year, I think you, me, and Chris Stewart, we had just found each other on the forums, and we were trying to
Yeah.
figure out, hey, is this even viable?
We had
A lot
probably
of people
10
said it
people,
wasn't.
15 people in it. I can't
Yeah,
remember. It wasn't a lot.
yeah,
It wasn't a
yeah.
lot. Yeah. And it was just like we were just kind of ticking over and we're just trying to figure out a few things. And wow, now it's how many members have we got?
Yeah, we had it. It was up to like 150 or 160 at one point, and it was
Wow.
unmanageable. And we started talking about splits. That did not go over well. So we,
Good splits.
yeah, mounted a quick
Yeah.
retreat.
Yeah. People
So
say, "Oh, why don't you do splits?" And then I start going, "Well, let's talk about the amount of work that's going to be."
there is a whole channel dedicated to why we did not do splits.
Oh my god.
Yep.
It's a meme at this point. Yeah.
Yep.
It's definitely a meme. It's just like, yeah, okay. We'll do splits if you pay us.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's that becomes full-time work.
Yeah, and what we heard from a lot of people is, I think Pete's probably the first person that actually put this label on the league, but a lot of people like the developmental nature of the league. That we've got guys here that are in the 6,000 I rating range. Pete, Chris, James, a number of others, and then we've got people that just signed up for the service, got out of rookies, put in a few Skippy races, and decided that hey, I kind of want this to be my main car. Where can I go to, I hate to use the word, mentorship, but there's a lot of nuance to the car, any car on the service, really. And if it's something that you want to set your sights on improving, you need to be around people who've already run the gauntlet. And we have so many of those people in the league. And I think that and the broadcast are the two main attractions. So yeah, and that's one of the reasons we don't run splits. The fast guys want to be on the track with the guys that are still figuring things out, and the guys that are figuring things out, they want to drive right behind somebody who's already worked out the kinks so they can see how it's done. And to your earlier point, Chris Herrera, that's where so much of the progress that we've seen throughout the grid has come from. It's just the average bar, front to back, has just steadily increased over the past year, and it's been awesome to see.
Yeah, I think I was saying a couple of weeks ago in the Discord chat, I did a spot check of quite a few of the racers here, and I looked at their I rating beginning basically December of last year, so when the league first started, and It was very consistently, I'm going to guess statistically significant increase in the I rating over the last 12 months, right when Sunday Night Skippy started. I know it was absolutely the case for me, and I checked 10 or 15 other profiles as well, and it was to a person, every single person increased their I rating very consistently over the last 12 months.
Yeah, it's awesome. I think it was Jeremy Grandin who he posted his stats earlier today as well. And as we go through and look at these, everybody has an inflection point when they join the league, and that's so cool to see. So yeah, but on the topic of slower drivers, faster drivers experience, we're also working on a coaching program that Pete Mabrotten has agreed to spearhead. So he will be working to appoint some coaches and not necessarily put together a formal curriculum or anything like that, but sort of set up an informal or maybe formal, I don't know, pro-am championship where anybody who's interested and in being paired up with a coach, we would do that, and that person would look at their telemetry, look at their replays, give them tips, and sort of walk them through a plan. Yeah,
I think it's great what Pete does. Obviously, he's one of the very fastest people on the entire service, and on certain tracks, he actually is the fastest person on the entire service.
Nords.
And when you're in a Nürburgring, and when you're in a race with him, he's gonna fight you hard. He'll fight you fair. But at the end of the day, he loves to help other people get faster as well. I mean, he hosts his snail racing team, and he loves to coach people and answer questions and share his thoughts on different strategies and whatnot. And he's very receptive to answering questions. So I think it's really great that we have people like that in the league.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's already got something going over with Snail, and I think that bringing it home to SNS Sunday Night Skippy, I think is going to be a huge benefit to us all. And I'm hoping that maybe if I can get a bit more time off, because right now we've been really busy at work, and so my leisure time to try and get on track and do some practicing has been very limited. But I'm hoping that I'll soon be able to fix that and get a bit more time where I can run some laps and stuff like that, and maybe take advantage of what Pete has to offer. See if I can move myself up a little bit further than I am, which is way at the back.
Yeah,
But
I
it's all
was.
good.
Yeah, I was surprised that he agreed to do it. That he's taken, basically a second duplicate project on by agreeing to do this with us. So, I didn't have super high hopes when we asked him, but when
Yeah,
he agreed to do it, I was very pleasantly surprised.
absolutely.
Yeah.
No,
Ian,
it's
speaking of work, please, obviously we've missed you. We've seen that you've been very busy. Please tell James that we know he's stressing out quite a bit, but his presence is missed. So we're thinking of him.
I will let him know. I'll probably see him tomorrow at some point in time, and talk to him about that and see if we can find a way of. He said to me that he's going to build his rig in the office, so I think that might be a great idea. Although I don't
Problem
know how much work
solved.
will get
I
done.
think you need to live stream that.
Yeah, we'll have to if that ever happens. Oh my God. But no, I think that it's life is how it is. You have to deal with real life first, and this
Yeah.
comes second. We don't get paid anything for doing this. It's something we do for fun. Spend more money than we should. I think for most of us.
Yep.
But we keep it moving forward. So the only last thing I have to ask about is Jason, you and we need to have a conversation about week 13 offline.
Yes.
Try and figure
Oh,
out what the
okay.
heck we're going to do, because again, I've been flat out with work. I've got a
Sure.
couple of projects that are driving me nuts, and which we're trying to get put to bed, and we've got to get something going I want to get it out to the group by at very latest Tuesday evening, so people can start practicing. Or of
Sure.
course, the other option is to do it like Shen's, where you get told what car and track
You're
it is.
you're gonna upset
Right on.
people if you don't let them practice. I'm telling you.
There's a whole thing a couple days ago.
It
We'll
was a
tell you
thing.
night of, mate. No, we'll figure it out. I don't think it's going to be particularly hard. I think there's some neat vehicles out there. Someone said keep it in the Skippy. Someone said try something new. We'll figure that out. And
What are your thoughts
figure
on
out-
the fantasy car that's coming out?
well, I kind of like that
I do
idea.
too. I'm
You know?
really pumped about that.
Yeah, I
I
think
mean, it
it's going to be
sounds like
interesting. You
normally
get the
aspirated
benefit of
V10 with downforce. Woo!
Yeah. You don't have to
It's like
mess with ERS and the MGU. Like just
none of that
put the
rubbish.
pedal down and go.
Yeah, well, or not, as the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
And then pick a nice track, like I don't know, Spa or.
Yeah, as much as everybody likes Spa, but we get kind of been out of shape when the Skippy goes there. And I'm in that crowd. I'm not a fan of the combination, but as much as everybody loves Spa in general, that might be a really cool combination.
Yeah,
That car is almost purpose built for tracks like that. So
yeah, so something like Spa. If we can find another big, sweeping, exciting, fast.
yeah,
I don't know. We'll see.
need to get Zandvoort rescanned. Get that bank in there before
wouldn't
the
that be
start.
cool?
Oh my gosh, that'd be amazing.
I hope they do it. I'm really pissed that they didn't get the chance to race it this year.
Yeah,
In the F1 circuit, but hopefully next year we'll see it, and we'll see it in the schedule. So that'll be great.
for sure.
Hey
For
Jason,
sure.
just FYI, I'm checking the official results. You officially leapfrogged right into P10 overall on the official championship.
Boom, there it is. Awesome.
Dang.
10, baby. You have to settle for a top 10 in a race where there's
Yeah.
people with 70 billion flipping iRating points.
The Pete's, the Herreras.
Yeah. Just settle for top 10. Flipping heck, mate. I tell you, it's a struggle for all of us.
Chris was on a tear this season. Chris, did you break into the 6,000s?
No, I'm actually barely past 5,000.
Okay.
I was gonna say, dude, I'm
But-
not even at 2,000 yet, so I don't know what you're talking about. But well,
Brilliant.
hey,
Yeah.
I wanted to give our, we appreciated that he came in and broadcast, but I feel like we almost kind of glossed over the fact that Chris Herrera won
Yeah.
the season championship. So I kind of want to give the floor to Chris to kind of talk about what he felt about the season and just wish him a huge congratulations, because the subtext here is that it's very difficult to perform well consistently in this league. And not only did he do that, he had this locked up a race ago and it was able to come and broadcast with us knowing full well that he had already locked up the championship after we just got done talking about how hard it is to be consistently good here. So, that is
He
no
low-key
small
teed that right up for himself,
feat.
didn't he?
Yeah. Well, what you're trying to say is he is the Lewis Hamilton of our small league.
Yeah.
I can't think of a better analogy there. But so Chris, congratulations on a fantastic season. Sunday Night Skippy season 4 champion. So what are your thoughts on how everything went?
Thank you so much. That really means a lot. It was very exciting when I guess I'll tip my cards here. I was the anonymous source last race that let you know that the championship had been clinched. But
Yeah,
it was very
if it wasn't
exciting
clear
when
for
I ran
everybody.
I'm certain that my friends and family assumed it was me. And so I double checked the math. And so when I finally verified that I had the championship locked up, I was just very, very excited because that was my goal going into the season. I think I was second last season behind Pete, and he had quite a gap on me. I think he had that locked up probably right around the same time I did for this season. And I'm not going to pretend like I'm, the fastest racer in the league. Obviously, I had the most points, but when I look at the results from, for example, Pete and Edwin, they were 3 and 2 respectively in the league for this particular season. They just had a couple of unlucky breaks that, unfortunately for them, ended a particular race, and they had too many drop weeks that were just too much of a penalty on their overall point standings. Obviously, everyone has some bad luck throughout the season, and I had some as well. But luckily, I only had 2 real bad races, and because of that, I was able to clinch the championship 1 or maybe even 2 weeks ago. But it's very exciting and very challenging to get in these races and to do these sorts of finishes. I'm very humbled that I was able to do this, and also at the same time very excited and very, I guess, proud of myself. And I'm looking forward to seeing if I can maintain it. Obviously, that's the goal, to win next season championship as well. But at the end of the day, I want to have fun. I want to have some good, respectful, clean racing with these guys that I've gotten to know, and hopefully we can continue having such a very successful, fun, and challenging league, because I think that's what a lot of these guys are looking forward to. So thank you again. This is just so much fun to be part of this and to have the goal of winning the championship, and then to achieve that, it just feels very, very good.
It's amazing. I mean, especially considering last season, you were a pretty serious contender then. If I recall, you finished second. So it's not like it's a fluke. You've got to perform week in and week out. And not only did you do that this season, you did it last season. And I'm sure you were on the radar the season before. I just can't remember off the top of my head. So yeah, huge congratulations. I think.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, the competition, it's so hard to overstate how stiff the competition is across. I'd say they're the top 5 in any given race. With the size and experience of the league, every track has somebody in our league where that's just either it's their home track or they're just a specialist. And then you've got the guys like Chris and Pete and Edwin and Carl, who just they're gonna nail it every single week. And if you blink, you're gonna miss out on 10 points. So coming out on top of that is remarkable. So congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. Well, we have just been informed that our stream has become a podcast, which I do not disagree with, but that's all well and good because this is, honestly, it's the last broadcast of the season. We
Yep.
have we've crowned a champion, and we got a lot of exciting things coming up, and yeah, kind of is what it is. Want to make sure that everybody gets a chance to chat about it, and um. The only thing I'll say is that it's been an absolute pleasure. I thought I'd have more time personally, going into the winter. I thought things would kind of lighten up once again, and it hasn't. But the support that I've got from just not only the admin team, but the league as a whole, helping out and trying to make this part of the league, the broadcast, as good as it can be, it has just been incredible. It was said before that we're all quote unquote volunteers. This is just something we do for fun in our own time, and a lot of people put a lot of work in. I mean, just even something as simple as Jake Ashe making some cameras for us just makes a world of difference for how the quality of the broadcast, which allows the friends and family to be a part of it, and you know what I mean, like it's all interconnected. So I guess I just wanted to say thanks to everybody. I'm enjoying being a part of this community, and it's a big part of what I look forward to, throughout the week. And it's a great escape from the the crap of the real world. So,
Yes.
yeah, right. So, yeah, it's just been a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to
And
next
Ian,
season.
sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
I was just going to say, Ian, I wanted to give you a special shout out. I know myself specifically, but also my friends and my family members of Running on Empty, they appreciate the track walkthroughs at the beginning because not only does everyone enjoy your accent, but you also have some very nice in-depth knowledge of the tracks, and you give a good racer's perspective on a lot of the turns and the exits and whatnot. And
You
there's
really
also the fun
do.
color commentary whenever you
Yeah.
happen to crash into somebody or the wall, and then yep, I'm in the pits again.
I need a
My
beat.
wife has said the same, Ian. Yeah, you were born to do that. So not be upside
And
down.
by the way, it is a difficult thing to do. I challenge anybody to try to talk intelligently and drive in a race car at the same time.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
I just need to learn to drive as good as I can talk, right?
But no, really, I mean the insights that you give while you're racing, and just all of the clutch commentary. I don't know how you come up with that stuff on the spot while you're also driving a race car. So it adds a really cool dimension to the broadcast.
Well, I'm glad people like it, and I hope we can keep it going. So, I think that listen, we all work at this, we all enjoy it, and I think that really is what shows, right? It shows that we're having fun doing this thing, and once we can keep that front and center, that's really that's the important part. It needs not to be a job, and it needs not to be a thing that anybody takes too seriously. We're supposed to have fun doing this thing, so enjoy your wins, enjoy your losses, just enjoy your time.
Damn.
Good perspective.
Yeah.
I'm not saying anything else after that.
Yeah, I don't know if we can top that. Well, hey, thanks again to our season champion Chris Herrera. I don't do we get a prize for that, or is it just bragging rights? We're not doing it.
I do know. So who's second?
Edwin got second, and Pete got third.
Edwin. So we'll get Edwin and Pete. We'll break up a salt shaker set.
There you go.
And thanks
No,
to Jake
you
Shea for
can't.
that as well.
No. You cannot break up Mr. Salt and Miss Pepper. I'm sorry, but they come as a pair. So we'll figure something out. But
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, I know there was an outcry for merchandise. I honestly have been meaning this entire time. Every time that I say, okay, you know what, I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna be the one to make this happen, and then something at work comes up. I'm gonna do my level best tomorrow to just whatever it takes. Let's get in the ability to get some T-shirts, some mugs, some pint glasses, some whatever, so that people can start buying some Sunday Night Skippy merch. And I don't know that it'll be right in time for the holiday season, but maybe a late gift. Hopefully that's understandable, just because life happens. But just another, I think, a testament. People want Sunday Night Skippy merchandise. That's crazy. That's awesome. We want the logo out there, and people being able to show their Sunday Night Skippy pride. So, other than that, hey, thanks everybody for joining us, and maybe we will start a podcast from now on, so we can do this in another forum. But it really just has been a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to racing week 13. I might stream it if people are want that, and kind of do something similar like we did at Watkins Glen. But I just want to participate. It's a lot of fun doing the broadcast, but at the same time, when you see people racing, and actually I want to hear what Chris says. Like, you got to watch it, but there's got to be a little part of you that was like, dang it, I should have.
Oh my
I
God.
kind of want to
It
be
looked
in there
very
right
fun.
now. Right? Yeah. Yeah, right. So I'm looking forward to any time that I need to be not participating. I just look for opportunities for that. Also, real quick, real quick. Last thing, Sunday Night Skippy Winter Challenge for charity. Our Sunday Night Skippy Grand Prix is next Saturday. If anybody is still watching, if anybody is still interested, it is next Saturday. We have now one more practice race, which will be Thursday night, official practice race, and Saturday night will be our Sunday Night Skippy Grand Prix. Now, the same rules apply if you are not familiar with it. We are going to have Formula One cars, the McLaren. Recently changed. We do have the rule where you're going to qualify on one set of tires. You will start the race on that set of tires, and you will be required to change your compound via pit stop once during the race. So we're kind of little shades of F1 racing in there. We're going to be at Suzuka, which is a fantastic circuit for the Formula One cars. We're going to have a bunch of Skippy drivers driving Formula One cars, which is going to be fantastic. and it's all for good causes. That is what I want to drive home. Just nail it home. It doesn't matter if you think you may do good or not. And I understand you don't want to be a danger to yourself or others during the race, and that's fine. But if you get enough laps in that you can run cleanly, that's all it takes. That's really all it takes. Just show up and let me know, register, contact me in the Discord. But we just have it's all for good cause. Put your charity on your car, race, and really it's about we're being broadcast by an actual professional broadcast crew who get paid to do this by me, specifically this time, but who it'll be out there on YouTube. They do a fantastic job. $250 donation to the charity of your choice if you win, $95 for second, $70 for third, and there's other prizes as well. Thanks in part to Jack Moffitt, our own Chris Herrera in here in the booth, Walter Collada, Adam Wright, Jeffrey Deckard, Mike Bowers, Robert Longatano, and Rich Butler, all contributing so far to the purses. And I can't emphasize enough how much fun it's been the first two races. People have raved about how much fun they've had coming out of it, but at the same time, I get a lot of feedback like, oh, I'm nervous that I'm not going to just be good enough to join it. Don't worry about that. Put some practice in, be safe, and come out and just have some fun with us for a good cause. Charity race, raise awareness for a cause that is important to you, and that's all that needs to be. To Ian's point, this is for fun. This is a video game, and that's all I want it to be. So, what? Sorry, did I say video game? Yeah, no, my apologies. It's a simulator. It's a simulator.
The whole world just came crashing down.
I know. My apologies. Anyway, yeah. Well, hey guys, thanks. I think we're on hour 4 now, so I will wrap it up and.
Since I'm just a guest here, I'll go ahead and sign off first, and thank you guys so much.
Take care, mate.
Yeah, we'll
Good
see
night.
you, Chris. Yeah, Chris.
All right,
Yeah,
bye guys.
Chris is
Bye-bye,
Chris is on the West Coast. Chris is on the West Coast, and he's calling it before the guys on the East Coast. I don't know what that says about us, but
Snowflake, mate. Snowflake.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, all
right,
right, hang on.
well-
I heard that. I just wanted to be the first one to say goodbye because this is I'm a guest here, and I don't want to bogart the microphone. And with that, I bid you adieu.
Good night, man.
Adieu.
Adieu.
Oh man, it's funny. All right, guys. Any parting shots? Because this is it. We're logging off for season 4. Next time we talk to you, we'll be here for season 5.
Chris, just to you, thanks for everything you do. Again, the broadcast is a massive. It's part of the league's identity. It's a huge part of it. You joke about getting a professional broadcast next week, but wouldn't change what we have. So thanks for everything that you put into it.
Well, thank you for having low standards. I appreciate that.
Yeah, right. We do a good job, mate.
Yes, you do.
We do all right. We do all right.
Yeah,
You know
we
what?
have fun. We have fun.
All right.
That's what it's all about.
Well, gents, it's past my bedtime, and as much as I like this, I'm looking forward to actually racing with you guys next week, and I'm gonna kick your ass. And it's gonna be fun. So
Game on.
we will. We will see you. I'm looking forward to seeing what week 13 has in store for us. Join the Winter Challenge, race for a good cause, and we will see you for season 5 premiere in 2 weeks from tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern. Same bad time, same bad channel, but that's it. That's all I got. Have a good night, everybody. Take care of
Good night.
yourselves.
Good night.